started in three, two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski. I'm coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Yes, folks, it is hump day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as I always like to say, the fun is in the trying.
Yes, it is. And here we are Wednesday trying it with you, trying our hump day with you. So,
With yous guys.
Use guys. You guys want to play stick ball?
Want to play stick ball? Hey, sounds like a lot of fun, you know?
Hey, I see you can talk to me. Nobody said
Hey, the guy, you talking to me? You talking to me? Do I amuse you? Am I a clown? Am I here for your entertainment?
no entertainment. Why don't you go home and get your shine box?
Forget about it.
Get about it.
How we
right,
doing,
man.
Mike?
Not too bad, not too shabby. How are things out there in the world of make believe and fairy tale land?
Well, let's see. The weather is phenomenal. The people are phenomenal. The politics suck hairy butt.
All right, so you said the weather's phenomenal, and all I can think is that you had the hurricane and the mudslides recently. So I guess if that's phenomenal, yeah, I like when you set a standard low. That's you're always
No,
going to be
hey,
successful.
all I'm saying is low 80s, sunny, not a problem.
We hit 102 here today, so it's cooled down some.
Okay. Well, y'all enjoy that. Y'all enjoy that heat. Like I said, we've been doing pretty good when it comes to the weather here.
You see, our weather is just that though. Weather. Yours is more like, earthquakes and fires and mudslides and those. Your weather takes on like the vengeance of Mother Nature. We just get rain.
Doesn't happen that often. Like I said, in terms of natural disasters around here, well, I'll put it to you this way. Let's just be clear. First of all, Burning Man is not in California. It is in Nevada. Now,
Yep.
mind you, it's a bunch of Californians who go to Nevada, but I think that's probably them bringing God's judgment with them.
Yeah, or like Nevada did the whole. Where are they all from? California. Hey, I got an idea. Cut the water off. Don't deliver any porta potties.
Oh,
Let's do that.
yeah, it was the funniest thing because as I'm listening to reports about people basically being stuck in the middle of Burning Man, and I realize, wait a minute. They got a grand total of a half an inch of rain. Now, mind you, I get it. You're in the middle of a vacant like bed of like lake bed that hasn't gotten any water in the middle of the desert, and then all of a sudden it gets rain. First of all, no one thought to take a 4x4 out there.
They don't. Listen, the people that are there don't have any clue what's going on around them.
No.
They're probably not even aware that they're stuck. They probably don't even know that.
Well, they're not stuck anymore, but they were. I mean, swear you would have thought from some of the reports from people and some of the Facebook posts from people who are IG posts from people who are stuck at Burning Man, you would have thought that they had just survived, the beaches at Normandy.
Yeah, very, very true. I've been to deserts before, but I know Arizona, Nevada, when they get that half inch of rain, it's like, like a torrent, or like a river that flows through it, because it's just the ground is so baked hard. It's not like it just absorbs into the ground and gets mushy and muddy like you get. It
Right.
happens there. it just funnels to the lowest point and becomes a torrential, body of water moving at a quick rate of speed.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, you know what? Anyway, they made it home safe, but it made for the reports made for good amusement. In any case, Mike, it's about that time. So why don't you do us a favor? Why don't you give us a quick shout out to our sponsors before we get started?
Yeah, special sponsor today, sitting with you again here at Lion Arms. That's lionarmsusa.com, lionarmsusa.com. It's not too late to get in on their 20% off sale for the holiday weekend. So you can run that the whole week. So 20% off, just call lionarmsusa.com. Well, go to lionarmsusa.com, look up their phone number, then call them and tell them you saw us on the rundown. Hitmanindustries.net. That's hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, odds are you got one of their barrels. Don't even know it probably. Well, now you can buy one from them for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. Please check out the California 6th Congressional race while you're there. If you want the best concealed holsters on the market, tactical holsters on the market, check out hogholsters.com, HWGholsters.com. That's hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get a nice little discount on your purchase. And if you're looking for some field gear, whether you're going out to play Army, you're going out to do some paintballing, you're going hunting, you're going fishing, you get everything but the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. And just want to make sure you know, our sponsors are veteran-owned and operated, quality products, fast shipping, great customer service. Check them out. It's real simple. All you got to do is follow the links in the description to this program. You go there, go to their website, check them out. I promise you will like what you see. You'll want to spend some money with them. And when you do, make sure you tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that referred you.
There you go. That's us.
All right. Also want to make sure you guys, if you haven't already done so, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Once again, like, share, and subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get into today's news stories. And, it's amazing that the folks on the left are always the ones who you find are the ones who are telling us that we need to follow the science. Well, there's some information that has been made available, and this was made available via the Washington Free Beacon, that they're following a different kind of science, shall we say, over there at the over there in the White House. Now, from day one, when Biden took office, one of the things that they did was they actually called on folks who were there. They said, here's what we need you to do. We need you to go, and we want you. Well, how do I put this? They said that we want you we want those of you in federal agencies to consider tribal religion alongside scientific studies. And here, leading this article by Joseph Simonson. Just 5 days before President Joe Biden entered the White House, his team handed the Washington Post an exclusive story. Biden would keep his campaign promise of following the science by turning the White House Office of Science and Technology into a cabinet-level agency. On November 30th, 2022, that office did something rather unscientific. It issued a memo directing more than 24 federal agencies to apply indigenous knowledge to research, policies, and decision-making. The 42-page document encourages the agencies to speak with spiritual leaders and reject mythological dogma when crafting policy as a way to remedy injustices against native peoples. Now, Mike, here's the thing that I don't understand about this. First of all, is this not, because he's talking about spiritual leaders, is this not the left injecting religion into policy?
Yeah, that's pretty clear to me what it says there, Craig. I mean, again, we've got another campaign promise. Although, can the guy remember what he had for breakfast? Probably not. He's not going to remember these campaign promises. He doesn't remember where he is, let alone what he said. But it certainly does sound like to me that we're trying to push, the religion here into politics.
So, okay, so let me Let me read this real quick. It says here federal regulators are to consider the folk wisdom of the Comanche Nation, for instance, as they consider lab results when trying to determine the pH level of rain. What does wisdom of the Comanche Nation have to do with the pH level of rain?
I feel like there's an Indian rain dance joke in here somewhere.
All I will say is that for a group of folks who once again continue to say follow the science, I'm really starting to believe that they're more into kind of the voodoo that you do, because you do so well.
Do you know, by the way, why the Indian rain dance works?
Why does the Indian rain dance work?
Because they dance until it rains.
Oh, well, there you go.
Sometimes it works in an hour. Sometimes it takes 3 weeks. But
sometimes it takes 3 weeks. Well, can't argue with that one. That's science, baby.
Science. That's science, baby.
How long do you have to dance for it to rain? Until it rains.
Until it rains. Well, there you go. That'll work.
Oh, that's some fun stuff. But yeah, folks. So yeah, whenever you hear anything from the left about follow the science, nope. No, follow the magical incantations. That's what they're leaning on. Magical voodoo incantations.
There you go.
All right. Moving right along. Could January 6th be used to keep Donald Trump off of the ballot? According to a lawsuit, there's actually a lawsuit where they're trying to contend that, well, because Donald Trump participated in his actions caused an insurrection on January 6th, there is an old Civil War era law that might actually prevent him from becoming president, or at least allowing him to be able to even run for president of the United States. Here it says a liberal group on Wednesday filed a lawsuit to bar former President Donald Trump from the primary ballot in Colorado, arguing he is ineligible to run for White House under a rarely used clause in the U.S. Constitution aimed at candidates who have supported an insurrection. The lawsuit, citing the 14th Amendment, is the likely initial step in a legal challenge that seems destined for U.S. Supreme Court. The complaint was filed on behalf of 6 Republican and unaffiliated voters by the group Citizens Responsibility for Ethics in Washington. Now, the first reason why you know that this is all a bunch of hooey, and you know that even the Associated Press believes it's a bunch of hooey, is because they actually pointed out that it was a liberal group that filed it. In other words, they're pointing out the bias. If they had just said that a group had filed it, or a nonpartisan group had filed it, then that would have told me that they think there is some there. But the Associated Press kind of gave away that they know there's no there.
Yeah, and this is extreme and left fringe kind of stuff as well, right? Grasping for straws. They see the momentum that the former president has with a 40-point lead over his next closest contender there for the nomination. So they're trying to do anything they can. And again, Greg, they're gonna fail spectacularly. What they're gonna do is maybe bring a little highlight to this story, and you know what that's going to do? That's going to anger more Trump supporters and just put them further and further over the top with his numbers in this campaign. It's just, I mean, the best thing they could do to try and counter President Trump is ignore him, but they don't want to do that.
Mike, I got to tell you. So there's a couple of things. Number one, they're trying to say that he caused an insurrection, but you know that actually none of the now 700 or 800 people who have been charged have been charged with insurrection. Donald Trump himself has not been charged with insurrection. Yeah. So how exactly do they think that it is going to be illegal for them to say he caused an insurrection for which there were no participants? That I don't get.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you halfway through this story, not even halfway through the story, I was gone too, because it states that the president's false claims of election interference, right? So it's it's clearly a biased article, biased piece. And again, they think by printing and publishing these type of articles, they're going to take him down when,
Well,
what they're doing.
They think the accusations are enough. What they fail to understand is, and here's the thing. If we were just talking about these accusations, that'd be one thing. But keep in mind, it's now been, 7 years of constant accusations. And so far, nothing.
Yeah, zero.
No Russian collusion. No, I mean, they impeached a man for absolutely nothing. For, as Donald Trump would say, a perfect phone call. It was perfect. It was a perfect phone call.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, they impeached him for doing exactly what we now have evidence Joe Biden actually did as vice president.
Yeah, I think, listen, I go back and you've heard me say this before. Those that voted to impeach the president should be impeached. They should be removed from office because part of the standard for impeaching somebody is that you have to have, they have to have been convicted of high crimes and misdemeanors, right? Well, guess what? He'd been convicted of none of those. So they brought forward an illegal impeachment hearing as far as I'm concerned.
You know what? I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that one bit. And not only did they bring forth a fake impeachment, there's no,
Yep.
they literally offered no actual evidence of anything. In fact, the most compelling witness that they had was someone who said they heard someone that wasn't in the car with him, who said they talked to somebody who was in the car, who later said, "Yeah, no, I didn't say that."
Yeah.
That was their most compelling witness.
Yeah, it's just pitiful, absolutely pitiful.
Pitiful
but I'm
does
sure
not even
Republicans-
begin
Yeah.
to
Republicans
properly
have a-
describe exactly what went on during that impeachment. And the problem is, and that's one of the reasons why, once again, I will say that I'm giving Kevin McCarthy a lot of credit, because he's like, look, you can say a lot of things about the motivations of a Republican impeachment of Joe Biden, but you can bet that there will be plenty of evidence. You will bet that they have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's when they move forward.
Yeah, listen, when the first administration for President Trump, they said they were trying to empty the swamp, clear the swamp, right? And they did so in a touchy feely kind of nice way. It was like playing the flute and running through Ireland to get these snakes out. It was like, oh, everybody follow us. We're trying to do this a nice way. And next time, listen, the cleaning of the swamp, it's going to be them gator boys and them swamp hunters coming in there and trapping and capping and pulling people out of that damn thing, because they are not going to put up with these people nicely upon regaining the White House.
Well, I think the problem was that while Trump was in office the first time, he was successful in draining the swamp, but he didn't actually clean out the swamp because he left all the swamp creatures.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think when he goes back, I think you're going to see some gators and some other swamp creatures are going to they're going to get sucked out of that swamp as well.
He did a good job of finding out that the swamp creatures are not necessarily Democrat or Republican, that the swamp creatures are career politicians, is what he found out.
They are part of the system. I hate to say this, but there are. And yes, I know some of y'all out there are dedicated Republicans. I'm a Republican, but I will say, yes, there are swamp creatures in the Republican Party.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Not saying, just saying.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. So a California judge had basically told schools, made a judgment that it is okay for them to lie to the parents of trans kids. Now, here's the deal. So you had a school district in Southern California decide that they were going to have a policy that if a child, and I want to emphasize this, a child decided that at school they wanted to be called a different name, referred to by different pronouns, and dress as an opposite gender, that they were then obligated there at the school to notify the parents. Right? Seems kind of simple to me. Well, a judge has now said, and this is once again a California judge, has said that well, no, we're going to put a halt to that policy while things are going forward. And this is what they said. says San Bernardino County Superior Court Judge Thomas S. Garza ruled after California Attorney General Rob Bonta sued Chino Valley Unified School District for adopting a policy requiring schools to tell parents when their children change their pronouns or use a bathroom of a gender other than that which is listed on their official paperwork. It says here, today's decision by the San Bernardino Superior Court rightfully holds the rights of our LGBTQ plus students, and protects kids from harm by immediately halting the board's forced outing policy, Attorney General Rob Bonta said in a statement. Garza's order halts the district's policy while Bonta's lawsuit continues. During a court hearing Wednesday, Garza raised questions about why the policy came up in the first place and how it protected students. Well, Mike, let me tell you how I am 100% sure that it protects students. They're the ones that argue with us, right? That if these kids don't get to transition, if they don't transition, well, we know, well, first of all, even if they do transition, we know that these kids are at a high likelihood for suicide. And the reason why they tell you need to let them transition is because they might kill themselves, right? If your child is in a situation or a condition that makes it highly likely that they will commit suicide, shouldn't you as a parent know about this?
You absolutely should know about this, but that's not their agenda, right? Not when it comes to the trans issue, not when it comes to this gender issue. They want to have ultimate control. They want to groom your children. They want them to take these medications. They want to control them for the rest of their lives. And Craig, additionally, I've asked you that when we do these type of stories, you refer to me as Lord Michael of Warsaw, son of Casimir, heir to the throne to the King of Poland. So let's just get that correct, okay?
How about Your Majesty? How about, because that's a lot to remember.
All right, we can do that. The Bonnie Prince. How about that? The Bonnie Prince. Yeah.
Your Highness. Or I'll tell you what. We'll just do it. We'll just use your actual pronouns. I'll just call you Milady.
There we go. We can go with that. Yeah.
But Mike, once again, it is amazing to me that they're like. And by the way, here's the other issue. So if a student at school in public decides that they are going to dress of a different gender, decides that they're going to have everyone at school refer to them by different pronouns and by a different name, and are going to basically act as a different gender. Sounds to me like the only people who do not know about this would be the parents.
Yeah.
That's what they're the people who are the only people who are responsible for this child are the only people who do not know. Now, how can you have an expectation of privacy when everything you are doing is in a public space? You are literally, this is not about privacy. This is about hiding it from parents.
Well, and I've given you the solution many times, Craig. Public space, public school. Let's put cameras in there, allow the parents to watch what's going on. That solves this immediately.
Well, for parents who will actually pay attention, it does.
Well, and listen, look at today's society, right? If you put in you give a code word for the parent to watch their school, their children's school and the classes that they're in, they're going to be on that phone, 47 hours a day, watching what's going on, which is just going to force those school board meetings to be extremely packed and go 3 days long when it's time.
Well, Mike, and here's the thing, and this, by the way, leads us to our next story. Because there are consequences when this sort of stuff happens. When you don't tell parents what's going on, they're not in a position where they can do anything. And that's what this next story from the Washington Post is. It's in essence a story about a bullied trans teen who ran away, was sex trafficked after the school kept gender transition secret from the family. This is all a part of a lawsuit. A Virginia high school student ran away from home and was sex trafficked through multiple states, in part because her high school failed to tell the child's parents she identified as a male and was relentlessly bullied for it, a lawsuit alleges. They stole my right to protect my daughter. Grandmother and adoptive mother Michelle Blair told the Washington Examiner of Sage, now 16. Sage, who had a troubled childhood and suffered mental health issues, started attending Appomattox County High School, age
Come on. Where was the Craig? Where was the Civil War
Appomattox.
site?
Appomattox.
Appomattox. There you go.
Okay.
You're from the
County
West Coast, we'll forgive it. Yeah, we'll forgive you.
County High School at age 14, August 10th, 2021, where she began identifying as a male, going by male pronouns and the male name using the male restrooms, according to the lawsuit filed by Michelle in Virginia federal court last month. But despite school staffers being actively involved in Sage's desire to become a boy and knowing about the repeated bullying she suffered, they deliberately concealed the gender change and didn't get her parents involved until it was too late and Sage ran away. She then ended up being raped by multiple men for months in 4 different states, the suit claims. Just one day into the school year, on August 11, 2021, Sage started getting viciously bullied by boys on her bus that said she looked like a boy, threatened to rape her until she liked boys, treated her or threatened to hold her out of the bus window by her hair unless she apologized, and threatened to shoot her, telling her they knew where she lived, the lawsuit alleges. Now, Mike, first of all, how do you not tell parents? What would you do? Let's leave the whole transgender thing out of it. What would you do if someone did this to your daughter at school and they didn't tell you?
Well, I mean, the individuals that did this would receive. I'm trying not to be too violent. They would receive many bloodletting sessions from me is what they would get. The school board that enforced and put this rule forward, I would go to that school board meeting and fill that room full of uppercuts. Just to, to put it plainly.
I just no the school staff for me that decided that they were going to allow this to happen to my child and not tell me about it. Oh, there would be, I don't want to say that I would cause harm to people, but let me just say there would be a lot of praying and a lot of laying on of hands.
Yeah, listen, I'm not trying to seem like I'm going, crazy and violent, because, we've all heard the saying "might makes right," and we know that's not necessarily true, but it does make a point. It does make a point.
But keep in mind, Mike, their child was in danger.
Yeah.
People at the school knew. They knew this child was in danger, and they didn't tell the parents. Now you have the Attorney General for the state of California suing a school district so that the same exact things that happened to Sage can happen to students in that school district.
No, again, it's probably the AG's office. I'd fill that room full of uppercuts also. But Craig, I have to tell you, though, that this story is very tragic, but not the story I thought it was going to be. Could you bring back up the 2-shot of us with the story titles?
Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
See, I thought this story was going to be about someone with a tail.
Shoot! Dagnabbit!
Not tail T.
I was a tragic tail. Okay.
Now we got to.
She was a furry too.
And I was like, is this like a little cut off Doberman tail, or is this like a really long?
She was a furry. She was a furry.
Is it a horse tail that just kind of brushes away flies?
Just a furry. Just a furry.
I thought, wow, we got a whole new
dude,
thing
man,
here.
look, I was rushing to get these titles done.
Hey,
I messed up, all right?
No Russian collusion, Craig. No Russian collusion.
No Russian collusion. No Russian collusion. You go. That's going to be the next campaign. Oh, he admitted there was he was colluding with the Russians. That's going to be in a campaign commercial. Anyway, suffice it to say that this whole thing is it is tragic because it didn't have to happen.
Right.
It didn't. Yeah. And it happened because the adults in charge lied to the people who were ultimately responsible, which were Sage's parents.
We don't care about these children, Craig. Why don't we care about these children? Because they don't vote.
Well, they've pretty much admitted that. I mean, when you go and you look now, like seven countries that were the leaders in the whole transgender, gender affirming, yada yada. All of them now have said, yeah, no, we're going to straighten up our policies because we found that, one, it's not reducing suicidal ideation like we thought it would. Number two, we're not seeing any tangible, either medical or psychological benefits. In fact, we're seeing that it's causing a lot of harm. We're literally experimenting on children, and that's what they're doing.
I think we'll get there, Craig. It's just going to take until the election time. The difference between the other countries and our country is that it takes every 2 years or 4 years to change a major administration and a policy. Whereas you go to a Germany or in England, they can just hold a vote at any meeting and change the outcome of their House of Commons or of their legislature at any time. So, including their prime minister. Remember, it's not every 4 years you vote for a prime minister. It's whenever the House decides we're taking a vote right now, and they might be out that day.
But Mike, no, my point is, it's not the politicians who are changing their mind. It's the medical experts in those countries that are changing their minds.
Correct, but the politicians are responding to it, and those politicians that are responding to it don't have to wait 2, 4, or 6 years to get voted in or out. It can be done on a daily basis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As soon as people decide they've had enough, call for a vote.
Yep.
Time to change.
Exactly right.
And that, by the way, folks, brings us to our parting shots, brought to you by Hog Holsters. Get your Hog Holster at hogholster.com. Make sure you use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Grab your Hog Holster today. This first one, I have to say, is kind of reminds me. Well, once again, this kind of has to do with multiple of the stories, like whether it's dealing with transitioning or it has to do with following the science. This is our, Deputy Secretary for Health and Human Services?
Yep.
I'll let you read this one.
It's our trans dude with the wig, right? And it says, you must accept the science, except chromosomes. That stuff's bullshit.
Chromosomes do not equal science. Yeah, and speaking about not following the science, you'll love this one. You heard that Jill Biden came down with COVID, right? Well, here you have Dr. Fauci is declaring Jill Biden free of COVID-19.
There you go.
Kind of looks like an exorcism right there.
Yep, exactly right. Yep.
I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Just saying.
And this one, I have to say, I think is a solid argument to have us concerned about election interference. At the top, in the top image, you've got a bunch of people who are sitting in chairs, spaced out. I think it's a grand total of 8 people. I didn't bother to count at a Biden event, and then you've got a stadium full of people at the bottom at a Trump event. And it says, when Biden campaign events look like this, and Trump campaign events look like this, can anyone blame Trump for thinking the election was stolen?
And once again, just further proof.
He actually does make a point.
Yep.
And speaking of a goal for this upcoming election, keep in mind there are not just presidential elections, but there are also congressional elections. And one congressperson that we would love to see go back to her former profession would be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or as Mike likes to refer to her,
Alex the bartender.
Alex the bartender. There you go.
Served us drinks at the bachelor party.
Which brings us to this tweet with a T-shirt. Make AOC bartend again.
That's it. Let her do something she was good at.
Yes, she needs to be something that she was good at, because she definitely is not good at being a congressperson. I think that is just a wee bit obvious. And with that, the time has come for us to just about call it a day. But before we do, we have one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Again, a special thanks today to Lion Arms USA. That's lionarmsusa.com, sitting here in their studio today. Again, call them. Or you go to lionarmsusa.com, look up the phone number, give them a call. You're going to get 20% off any item you order from them. You got to call them, though. Oh, and by the way, First one that calls is going to get an extra $50 worth of free swag. So you're going to get all sorts of swag for you as well. That first person. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. You can get any rifle or pistol caliber barrel you want and any length for your next AR build. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. Watch out for the California 6th congressional race there. And of course, if you're going to the field, going outdoors, no matter what you're doing, anything but the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit our sponsors, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. And on that note, we're going to call it a day. We're going to call it a show, but we will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Don't get in any trouble between now and then. No trouble. Paya! Unless you plan on punching somebody in the throat, then make sure to mention in the comments who you punched in the throat, and we will either make fun of you or celebrate, or maybe we'll try and raise bail for you. Who knows? But in any case, y'all take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.